Hey guys, so today I am doing a look that I kind of basically created the look on the go, like as I went. I just knew I wanted to basically make the main focus this really beautiful green NYX eyeshadow. So if you would like to see how I got this look right here, just keep on watching. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and get started. I'm kind of doing this, figuring this out and kind of making this up as I go, so wish me luck. If you guys hear some odd noises in the background, I have a bearded dragon. He's right next to where I film, and right now he's, for some reason, he's really charged up today, so you might hear some banging around because for some reason he's just being a little crazy today, so I apologize if you hear him. Hopefully he quiets down a bit. Alright, so I know you guys probably know that I've got a foundation routine already, but I'm going to do the foundation for this video. Because you can probably tell my skin is a bit darker than it normally is because I have been going tanning. So I'm going to need to use foundation that I typically use when I'm a little bit darker. And right now I am testing out the L'Oreal Magic Skin Beautifier BB Cream, the Anti-Fatigue Cream. Kind of just trying to give this a really good test run, so I will be using some new products in this video so I can kind of test things out a little bit and see how much I like them so I can at some point do a review. Okay, so I'm basically using that today as my primer. We'll see how well that holds up and if it really does anything, just so I can provide, like I said, a review on that later. I am going to go in with one of my favorite foundations at the moment. It is the Revlon Color Stay in Toast for normal to dry skin. I just put it in this little bottle here because it makes it a little bit easier for me to use this product. I'm just going to give this a shake. And I'm going to apply this all over my face using a beauty blender, as I usually do. Okay, so now that that is on, I'm going to go ahead and put some concealer on. I am going to use my usual Amazing Cosmetics concealer that you guys know I love and cherish. And I'm just going to apply that underneath the eyes today because I think my foundation did a pretty good job at canceling out any other areas that I feel are a problem at the moment. I have a few breakouts going on right now because I am taking hair growth vitamins, and they contain high amounts of biotin, and those do break me out a bit. If you want to see a video about all of that, I do have a video about my hair growth journey. I'll try to link that down in the description box for you guys in case you're interested in seeing it. Okay, so my concealer is now on, and I'm going to go ahead and set that with the Ben Nye banana powder. I actually think I might, I don't know, might do banana powder mixed with a little bit of Cameo. Nah, we're just going to go straight for the banana powder. And yeah, my bearded dragon is getting crazy again. I don't know what his problem is today. He is nuts. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and use a little bit of blush because one of the things I do know I'm going to do is I'm going to use a very strong green on my eyes today. So I'm going to be using a natural looking blush. I'm going to use the NYX cream blush. It looks like this. These are really nice, especially if you have dry skin. I think I'm just going to use a Real Techniques stippling brush to apply it. Ooh, I put that on a little strong. You ever put your blush on a little bit strong like I just did? Just take your beauty blender that has a little bit of residual foundation on it just to kind of bounce it on top of that, just to mute it out a little bit. Like that. Let me try not to do this again. I must have really loaded my brush up. Okay. Blush is done. I'm going to move on to a highlighter. I'm going to use the Betty Luminizer by The Balm. This is a very goldeny highlighter. I am going to use an e.l.f. fan brush to apply it. I love this little thing. I just found it the other day and I think it was $1. I got it at my local grocery store, so if you don't have a Wegmans, you could probably easily find this at Target. Okay, so highlighter is on. I was thinking about doing some contouring, but honestly I'm just not going to do it, just because I am going to try to get to the gym today and I really just don't want to have a ton of makeup on my face when I'm just going to be probably sweating it all off, so people are going to be looking at me strange anyways, like, who comes to the gym with a bunch of makeup on? Well, beauty YouTubers do. Okay, so I am just going to use this little trial size that I have here of some Tarte setting powder. It's just a translucent powder. I'm a big fan of Tarte Cosmetics. I think they make really beautiful cosmetics. And wow, that made a huge mess. Awesome. Okay, I think we're good with that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to eyebrows. If you watched my recent haul video, my recent Sephora / Ulta / CVS haul, you know that I picked up another Anastasia Duo brow powder duo, and I got it in the color Granite. Very dark color. I think it's the darkest color that their powders come in. I don't know if you're able to see that really well, but it's very, very dark, and surprisingly enough, it doesn't make my brows look too over the top. Like, they don't stand out too much, which I don't like my brows to take over my face. That would not be good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do before I put on my powder is I'm going to use my NYX Eyebrow Shaper. This is just a wax, and it looks like this. Now I'm going to take my Sonia Kashuk spoolie, looks like that, and I just kind of bent the tip here, and I'm just going to run through my brows with this. So they're all going in the shape that I want them to. And I am going to take my Real Techniques Bold Metals brush number 202. It looks like this. And I'm going to use this to apply my brows. And what I've done is I've picked up the darkest shade in this duo, and I'm going to work on the arch through to the tail of the brow first, and then I'll apply the lighter, more gray toned towards the center of the brow, so that way it has a nice gradient and natural look. Okay, so my brows are clearly not cooperating with me today, and I think this is the best I'm going to get them. I'm just going to finish this off with a little bit of Benefit Gimme Brow Gel and call it a day on these. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot to mute my phone, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I got asked what I want to eat for dinner, and, well, I love food. Alright, so that's enough with the brows. I've so had enough with them today. Let's move on to the part of the makeup that I find to be the most fun, and that's the eyes. So this look today, I have decided that I want it to center around this really gorgeous green shadow from NYX. And this is one of their new shadows from the Prismatic Shadow line, which, by the way, I am totally loving these right now. I think they're amazing. So I'm really excited to try this out. So the first thing I'm going to do, as usual, I am going to use my MAC Paint Pot and Painterly, and I'm just going to give myself a really good base. Okay, my base has been applied. I think I'm actually going to take this, and I'm going to go take this Painterly Paint Pot, and I'm going to take it underneath the eye as well, because I'm going to put some green underneath there as well. So I'm just going to take a Real Techniques accent brush. It looks like this. I like this because I can get really precise. And I am just going to prime that under eye area for shadow as well. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to go in with, right now, one of my favorite eyeshadows that I use to highlight underneath my brow bone. It is the Milani number 01 Bella Ivory. This has a small amount of shimmer to it, but I think it's really beautiful for right underneath the brows. And I'm going to use another e.l.f. brush. This is the e.l.f. smudge brush. It looks like this, and I just like the shape of it for doing that under the brow highlight. As usual, I like to blend everything I do. My favorite blending brush at the moment is this e.l.f. Fluff brush that I get from Kohl's. Okay, next up I am going to put into place a transition color. I'm actually going to use a goldeny color for my transition, and I am going to be using Makeup Geek Glamorous, and it looks like this. And that's going to be my, like I said, my transition color. To apply that, I am going to be using a EcoTools airbrush concealer brush. It looks like this, but I feel like it works really great for applying a transition color that I'm okay with having it go on with a really blown out sort of look. So I should probably just zoom you guys in a tad so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. I'm going to go back to my e.l.f. Fluff brush and blend. Now it's going to start getting really fun. I am going to use my Rimmel Scandalize pencil. This is a waterproof black pencil, but it is, I believe this is like just like an eyeshadow pencil. It looks like this. You don't really want to use this for doing eyeliner, at least I wouldn't. I'm going to use this as a base so that my green stands out really well. And I am going to smudge this out with a Real Techniques shading brush. Looks like that. I'm just going to take it kind of like that far, do the same thing to the other eye. As you guys can see, I'm not being super precise about this because I'm just going to place the green right on top of it, and the green's going to really overlap in some areas to a degree, so it's really not that big of a deal for me to have to be super precise with that. The next brush that I'm going to use, that's a fairly new brush to me, and I'm still kind of using it to see how I like it. So far, not too bad. I got this at Walmart. This is the Lab 2 Beyond a Shadow of a Doubt brush. It looks like this. I like this brush right now for basically packing on a color. So I'm going to take that NYX Jaded I can't say this for life of me. Prismatic Shadows eyeshadow. And I'm going to pick up a decent amount of that with my brush, tap some off, and start packing this onto the lid. And I'm going to go back in with my e.l.f. Fluff brush and I'm just going to do a little blending. And as you can see, that black really helped to allow that color to really stand out. And it also provided a fantastic base for our color to stick to, so that will last us all day long. Okay, our green is on. What I am going to quickly do is I'm going to go back in with, well actually, you know what, I think I'm going to take a pencil brush. Okay, I've got a few pencil brushes here. I got, this one here is from Posh and it's called a crease brush, but I'm going to use it as a pencil brush because of the size of it. And I'm going to go into Glamorous, which is that transition color, and I'm going to smoke that underneath the eye. And I'm actually going to take this Glamorous color and I'm going to go right into the inner corners with it. Okay, and so now with the smaller Posh crease brush, which I'm actually using again as a pencil brush, I am going to take that green color and I'm going to take that to the more the outer part of the underneath of the eye. Okay, so here's what we got so far. One thing I think I am going to do is I think I'm going to take my Sigma E45 Small Tapered Blending, one of my absolutely favorite ever blending brushes for applying shadow into the very inner part of the crease. And I'm going to take the color Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek, and I'm going to take this into the very center, or the very inner part of the crease, not the whole way through. Alright, so next thing to do is, of course, apply some liner. I am going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible lacquer liner in Blackest Black number 171. So I'm just going to take this with my product and it's going to have like a really nice sharp line to it. And I'm going to give this a give this a go. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if it's my brush or if it's me. I really don't. I want to say my fine liner brush might be easier, but I suppose practice makes perfect with everything, right? Yeah, this is Definitely not as easy for me. Okay, well, this wing I guess is done. Oh god. I really probably shouldn't have tried this for the first time on camera. Let's give it another go. Hopefully the wings turn out to look the same, relatively speaking. Oh god. I don't know about this. Alright. I don't know, guys. I think I want to go back to my fine liner brush. Like, I am fighting to keep using this brush for this. Like, big time. Boy. Okay, so maybe to put on bottom liner, it's alright, but that top line, oof. I don't know about that. Alright, so... oh, this is ridiculous. I am just going to go ahead and go in with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which is my favorite mascara at the moment, or my Lancome Hypnose Drama. But I have this readily available, so I'm going to use this. Hopefully I can get a thick enough coat of mascara on to hide the possible bad liner job that I just did. Okay, so now for the bottom lashes, I am going to try something out for the very first time. Not sure if it's a good idea after all I've been through with my liner to try something else for the first time, but I am going to use Maybelline Lash Discovery. And this is waterproof. Looks like this. I figured because of the size of this brush, which is ridiculously skinny and small, it would be great for getting my lower lashes. So let's see how this goes. It's not awful, but it's not great. At least that's my first impression. But maybe after the tube of mascara has been open for a few days, it'll get better. Okay, so that's about 2 coats of mascara on the bottom, and I did do about 2 coats of mascara on the top. I'm just going to basically finish this off with a nude lipstick. This is Milani number 26 Nude Cream, and because the eyes are quite dramatic. I don't want like a red lip because I'm going to look like Christmas, and then but I think this nude lipstick is going to really complement it the best. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and hanging in there with me as I struggled with my brows today and trying new eyeliner techniques. That was interesting. Not sure if I'll be doing that again, the eyeliner part at least. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and give me a thumbs up if you did, subscribe if you'd like to see some more of my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.